It's been a long, long weekend, and this is the last one of the weekend, of the opening weekend. The fences are lined, all eyes on the racetrack. Jake French, Aiden Rudolph into the start box, green flag in the air. We are racing here in KA100 Sr. A good start by everybody there, side by side all the way through. Landon Skinner, Jesus Vasquez working their way through in there as well. And all of the back straightaway we go for the first time.
This is the clash where you'll see a lot of different driving styles. As you see, Jake French went fully over that red curbing and was able to get in front of Rudolph as we head down into turn 11. Rudolph back on the inside, kind of a slide job.
Oh, wow. Jose Carlos Hernandez picking up the leftovers, and Rudolph and French were going back and forth there to see who was going to take the lead of the race. And Jose Carlos took advantage, got through on the two of them, and there goes Aiden again to the bottom of the racetrack onto the curb using what Jake French was doing yesterday. So this is going to be a very, very fast-paced race from the start of it and all the way throughout it as well. So everybody leaving nothing out there on the racetrack and trying to take it all there, as well as Aiden gets tripped up there on the exit at turn number 3.
Vasquez hits a little bit of a splash of water there. As you see, a lot of water still standing in that 1-2-3 section, but on the bumper of Overbeck, exiting turn 4 and 5, tries to get on the inside and going to run down his inside on the straightaway, see if he can't make a move heading into turn 6.
Overbeck and Jesus Vasquez Jr. side by side. This is the highest these two drivers have been all weekend long. Vasquez, again, qualified 20th. He's been chipping away at it all weekend long, trying to get up to the top of the field. And same thing for James Overbeck, qualified 15th, I think, and he's been slowly getting back up there in the mixed conditions. And, you know, for everybody as well, Aiden started up at the front, and you see how dirty his suit is. You see how, you know, hectic that start was for him as well. He's far back in 7th.
Rudolph gets a nice little bump there and able to get on the inside of Jake French. It looks like we might have an issue for Jake French.
Jake French, again, we saw gremlins for him earlier on in the weekend, and they come back to bite him here in the main event. Unfortunate for Jake French, who was really, really having, I think, one of the best weekends possible for him here at Speed Sports Racing Park on the start of the 2025 year. So unfortunate for Jake French, but Rudolph continuing to make moves.
We see Peyton Phillips on your screen there. A really, really rough weekend so far for Phillips. Wasn't able to get off the grid for qualifying. Had to start last in all of these heat races and is quickly making his way up through the field in P7. Catching up to this group, there is a bit of battling going on. I think we'll see him join this group shortly. Rough weekend for Phillips, but we know he has pace as he tries to send it in again on the inside. This time he's able to make it stick. So Peyton Phillips will move up to the 6th position over Dallas Dunlap.
Jose Carlos Hernandez is really, really good in conditions like this, where it's kind of that medium point. We saw him flourish in the rain yesterday, where he had a couple of good runs. Wasn't the best in the 4th heat, but again, he's doing quite all right here in this one to hold everybody at bay. And, you know, you talk about invasions with the Coyote guys, with Jose Carlos Hernandez coming over, flying him out over here as well from Mexico. He's spent more time in the U.S., I think, this year than he has at home racing formula cars with the Alessandro's boys, and he's been very, very busy here, and it shows why they bring him to races like this, why he gets himself in the front and put himself at the right place at the right time. Talk about one of our own as well, Jake Faulkner up inside of the top 10. That's a great drive by Jake to get himself up there, who started further back in the field as well. I think he was starting in the 20s, and now he's up inside of the top 10. He was one of those drivers who was on board we saw yesterday. Couldn't see anything going into the first couple of corners into the main event, and now he's in there getting creative, testing stuff out, and seeing what he can do to run the full season in the KA category. And not so much for Rudolph. Not sure if he's what the plans are after this weekend, what they have planned after a good result for them nonetheless. But again, for everybody in this championship, you have a new factor this year, a new driver, a new team that it seems to be working very, very well together. Jose Carlos Hernandez and that OTK package has definitely come to life here in the rain, and he's definitely been the class of the field today, putting a big, big gap on the field. 7 seconds for Jose Carlos Hernandez in that Red Speed team. He's still in the lead of this race. Vasquez in second, Aiden Rudolph, those two drivers who shared a championship last year and fought week after week, race after race. They were always the top 2, and you see why they fought for a championship. But this year, there's a new kid on the block, and again, year after year, we have more and more kids that start to join us, and drivers that continue to join us. It was Vasquez in 2023 at the end of the year, and it was him last year coming from California. This year, it's Jose Carlos Hernandez in partnership, obviously, with the Orsalon team and the Red Speed team. They're bringing him out here, want to promote this chassis, want to promote this brand, want to promote this team as well here this year in the state of Texas. And if we're going to see him a whole lot more, you better hope it's not going to rain here, Cameron, because Jose Carlos Hernandez, an absolutely flawless drive on this Sunday afternoon to end the main events on a high. And what a debut weekend as well for the Red Speed team. Around the last two corners, Jose Carlos Hernandez looking around, can't see anybody else in sight. He's a winner for the first time. Debut weekend for Red Speed. They're winners in Houston. Across the line in second, Jesus Vasquez Jr. and Aiden Rudolph. Your podium, black and checkered flag. Provisional results, but what a drive by Peyton Phillips and what a drive by James Overbeck and everybody else inside of the top 10 to salvage a couple of good results. But Peyton Phillips, seriously, honestly, in my book, driver of the day, making up all those positions and getting himself inside of the top 5. That's a championship drive right there.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of heavy movers. Honestly, you have to give it to Peyton. He kind of saved this weekend. If you kind of looked at what happened in qualifying, not being able to get off the grid, starting in the back at some of those heats and maybe not getting up as far as he would have liked, he really salvaged this weekend and ended up with a lot of points with that P4 position. This could potentially not be his drop race. This gives him a little bit of room in case something really bad would unfortunately happen, which we don't wish upon anybody here. We want everybody to finish these races, but salvaging this weekend and getting that P4 finish allows for a little bit more room for error. God forbid anything were to happen. But here is your top 15.